Hi, it's Lori Appleby here, and I am from Our Purposeful Journey. That is my company, and I am going to share with you today the game that I created called Soul Adventure Journey to the Real Me. And this is a game that what it does is it opens up your intuition because you are practicing every day. And what you're doing is you're playing the game once a day. That's it. It takes maximum of 10 minutes. And what this game does is it's a personal growth transformational tool that allows you to connect with who you truly are on the inside and to be that person on an everyday basis. It's a daily activity that provides fun. You're opening up your personal chakras, your seven main chakras in your body, and you're also connecting to that intuition on an everyday basis. And when you do it on a consistent basis, you are going to receive more consistent results. So I'm going to just quickly demonstrate to you how to play the game, what's in the box, and what you can expect. So the first thing that we have in the game is we have three decks of cards. There's the Compass Being deck, there's the Chakra Locator deck, and there is the Adventure Energy deck. You also get a booklet. This booklet gives you lots of information. Right here is where you will start by filling in your information, your intentions around playing the game, and when you're going to play it, and who you may use to keep you accountable. There is instructions in here answering almost all the questions that I could think of that anyone would have, and then exactly how to play and what to do each day. So this booklet is your guide to reference. The first thing to do is to read the booklet when you get your game. You also get your journal cards. So these are what you're going to use when you pull your cards for the day. So I want to just let you know how you're going to benefit from playing this game. Like I said, you're going to learn to trust your intuition, which I like to call our soul's wisdom. And it's also, this game is going to prompt you to take inspired action towards your desires, your goals, your dreams. And when we take action and it's not feeling heavy or like we should do it, life flows a whole lot better when we are taking that inspired action that is coming from us, because we truly do have all our answers within us. We just need tools to help us to pull those answers out, because most of us are stuck in our head, and most of us have a hard time consistently hearing our intuition, or we're just not sure if what we're hearing is our intuition. So by practicing this on an everyday basis, by playing the game once a day, you are going to build this intuitive muscle that is your sixth sense. And I believe it's one of our most important senses that is very underused. What also is going to happen is, because you are going to be connecting with who you truly are, you're going to be more in alignment with your soul, with your inner being. And when that happens, you start sending out a different frequency. You raise your vibration and you start sending out that frequency that attracts in the people, places, things, opportunities that resonate with who you truly are. When we're trying to be someone we're not, we are drawing in things and attracting things that aren't resonating with us. So that is a really important and helpful aspect when we are on this life journey, because life is going to flow a whole lot easier when things are showing up that are in resonance with who we truly are. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate to you how to play the game and how it goes. So first we pull a card from the Compass Being deck. And this deck, all of these cards are all states of being. So things like love, worthy, playful, confidence, that kind of thing. So what you do is you play this game by yourself. It's good first thing in the morning or maybe in the evening before you go to bed when you have some quiet time to yourself and you can relax. And what I like to do is just take some nice deep breaths before I start so that I can really get grounded and centered in my body. So in through our nose, out through our mouth, just taking a few nice deep breaths. Noticing our body, noticing anything that's going on there, and focusing on our heart center is really a great way to start. And before I play the game, I like to ask that I am going to receive the guidance that I need to make the best decisions, to be my best self and the highest good for all. So we shuffle the deck. And you can shuffle it as much as you want. You don't even have to shuffle it if you don't want to. You can just split it a few times. It's really whatever works for you. And then when you feel like it's time to stop, you just kind of go with your intuition. You go with your gut. And if a card happens to pop out or fall out, if you know anything about oracle cards or angel cards or tarot cards, that means that's your card. So if one falls out or pops out, that would be your card. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen, then you just pick the card that is calling you. I just randomly pick because I know I'm always going to get the card I get. So today, or that I meant to get. So today I received the card Willingness. I am willingness. I am open to viewing situations from different perspectives. So this is the first card, and what we're going to do is we are going to, on our journal pad, we're going to write the date, and we are also going to put the day we are playing, and I'll tell you more about that after. And then on the very first line, we're going to write willingness. So now we have our first card draw. We're going to pick up our chakra locator cards. Now these cards are based on the chakras, the 7 main chakras, our personal chakras, and they are parts, all the different parts of us. So there's things like intuitive me and the real me, of course, because it's Journey to the Real Me, courageous me, and based on the different areas of our body, because our chakras all hold different emotional centers of who we are and different body areas of who we are. And there is a lot of information that you can find out about yourself, about your aches and pains, about feelings that are happening, about things that are going on in your life based on your chakras. So you don't have to know a lot about it, because I also give you an ebook with the game that gives you more information about that, and just so that you can identify what chakra area and what's going on. So this time I'm just going to cut the deck. So we got self-talk me. And self-talk me, I think most people can identify with this one, because everybody has some self-talk. Maybe it's negative, but maybe it's positive. And that is something that the game really does, is it helps us to, because we're building, what we're actually doing with this journal pad is we are building a positive mantra, a positive statement that we will say to ourselves. So this game is building positive self-talk. Self-talk is in the first chakra, the root chakra. And I'm going to read you the definition of self-talk me, because in the booklet, it has all the definitions of all the different cards that you might pull in the chakra locator cards. So self-talk me says, what you say to yourself empowers you to be your best self. So that sounds really good. So write self-talk me in there. And then we go on to our next deck of cards. Our next deck of cards are our adventure energy cards. So these are all action-based cards, and they are broken up into 3 different energy areas. So I'm going to shuffle them, and as I shuffle them, I'm going to explain to you what the 3 different energy areas are. So we have the creating energy, the healing energy, and the mindfulness energy. And the reason why I broke these up into different areas is that we can have an opportunity, once we played the game for a little bit, that we can start to see what areas we may need to focus on, because we can see that we're pulling a lot of cards in one of those areas. That helps us to go a little deeper and to see what it is that our soul is calling for us to do more of. Okay, so the card I picked was exploring. So exploring is a creating energy. And I love it because exploring is such an amazing energy to have, because that really opens you up to possibilities. And with exploring, you don't have judgments. You really want to drop your judgments, and you're very curious and you're inquisitive and you're looking for something new. So I love the cards that we're pulling today. So now what we have, I didn't write the date or anything, but normally you would. So now what we have is we have an incomplete sentence. I am willingness with my self-talk me, therefore I am exploring. So what are we exploring? Well, this is where our intuition is going to come into play. So this is when I like to take another couple breaths. And then I'm going to say this incomplete sentence out loud, and I'm going to listen for my answer. I'm going to listen for the end of the sentence. And this is where my intuition is going to chime in. Now, before I do this, I just want to say that intuition is what comes first. It's not thinking, it's knowing. It just pops in your head. It's the first or second thing that comes in. You may receive it in the form of words, visions, a sentence, a couple words. There's so many different ways to receive intuition. None of them are right or wrong. It's just how do you receive it. So I usually receive words. Sometimes I'll see a vision as well. So I am willingness with my self-talk me. Therefore, I am exploring. And what I got was the abundant ways that my soul wants to speak to me. That just showed up in my head. So I know that that means that's what my end of sentence is. The abundant ways my soul wants to speak to me. So now I have a mantra for today. This personal mantra was created by me. It was from my energy of pulling these cards, and it was from my intuition. So nobody told me this. This came from me. And this is a very empowering tool to use, because we do have our answers, like I said. So when we can build our own personal positive self-talk mantra that we can, we can reflect on, we can journal on this, we can meditate on this, or we can just keep it with us and, just read it a couple times throughout the day and see what shows up. So I am willingness with my self-talk me, therefore I am exploring the abundant ways my soul wants to speak to me. So now what we have is we have our mantra, but now we want to really focus on, what does willingness mean? Willingness is, like I said, I am open to viewing the situation from a different perspective. I am willingness. So what I like to do is to just say that and feel into your body. Just focus on those words and feel what it feels like to be willingness, to be open to looking at things from a different perspective, without judgment, without any expectations. Because when we can be willing to be open to something different, we are open to receiving that information. But when we have a judgment around something, we limit what we can know about it, what might be possible. So now that we feel what it feels like to be willingness, then we ask our intuition, our soul's wisdom, what key actions can I take today towards this personal mantra. So what I received was to say this personal mantra to myself in the mirror. So that is what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to write down. I don't question it. This is what my intuition is telling me. So say mantra to myself in the mirror. And mirror, saying things to yourself in the mirror is very, very impactful, because if you have been following Louise Hay at all, she teaches mirror work, and that means you're looking into your eyes in the mirror, so that means you're connecting to your soul. So saying I love you, or something like your personal mantra to yourself, is really going to help it to integrate into you on a deeper level, into your cells, into your DNA, and you're really connecting with that inner part of you. So I love that action step. So now that I've pulled my 3 cards, what I do is I need to tick off which cards I pull. So this is our tally sheet that's in the booklet. So I would tick off willingness down here, I would tick off exploring, and then I would flip the page and I would tick off self-talk me. And the reason why we do this is so that we can decode what our themes are. And our themes are where we look and see what we've been pulling, what cards have we been pulling. So you can see, for instance, I've already tallied my cards here, and I've pulled, the most cards I've pulled is in my 6th chakra, which is my 3rd eye. I've pulled 10 cards over the last 44 days in that area. And then, you know, then I've tallied the other ones as well. And then in my other areas, I pulled love was the most I've pulled, the compass being card of love. And then I also pulled, the most energy that I pulled was in the healing energy. And that makes sense for me right now with what's going on, because I'm really leveling up into something bigger than I have ever done. So doing the healing work is usually what ends up being required when you're leveling up. So that totally makes sense. So what we do is then we're going to decode what our themes are. And I'm not going to get into that too much because that's for another thing, but there is a pages that you can ask yourself some deeper questions and you can tally up your cards. But we don't do this till we get to the day 44. I also want to say that if you miss a few days playing, that is totally okay. You don't need to be concerned. You just pick up where you left off. That is completely normal. And I also want to say one more thing about the action steps, is that we're not required to take these action steps on a regular, if we don't feel good to take it. It might happen the next day or a few days later. The most important thing is that we set that intention and that seed was planted. And the last thing I want to share with you on this call is that we have a soul evidence tracker. And this is where we write down the synchronicities, the results, the amazing things that show up in our life when things start flowing. So that's my my demonstration today. I would love to tell you more about Soul Adventure. Please join us in the Facebook group, and you can find me online at Lori Appleby on Facebook, Forgiveness is Freedom on Instagram, and I'm also on Twitter, Lori A, Lorree. Thank you so much for playing with me today, and I hope you have an amazing day.